Hey guys, we got some 8/4 walnut for an upcoming dining table, but fortunately they have some twist and they wobble quite a bit. So we're gonna use a standard router to get these nice and flat. All right, so to flatten out these slabs with a router, the first thing is we gotta make a sled. Now the first measurement that you're gonna wanna take is the measurement from the base plate of your router. This is gonna be different depending on what router you have. I have a universal plate on the bottom here that is 6.5 inches in diameter, so that is gonna be the first measurement that I use. 3 pieces of the sled have been cut. I use the track saw, just use whatever you got, circular saw, table saw, track saw, they all work and do the same thing. Now when laying this out, prior to making your cut, I just measured the thickness of the material because it's always not exactly as advertised. Get that on your combination square and then run it down and scribe it on the piece that you're gonna use for your base. Once it's scribed on there, you can sit your router in between those two lines that you scribed to make sure that you're gonna have room for the router to wiggle around in there. You don't want it super tight because then the router is not gonna freely slide. Now we'll get it assembled. All right, y'all, so like any project, there's always some bumps in the road. My Harbor Freight router, it didn't allow for enough clearance with the 3/4 inch plywood with the slab flattening bit. So I needed a new router. I went out and picked up a DeWalt 618. This is the one that has the fixed and the plunge base to it, so I'm gonna be using this. So I just need to make some slight adjustments to the sled and we'll be good to go. So on this base, I had it set up for a 6.5 inch plate that was on the bottom of this router. This router is 6 inches, so all I'm doing is I'm just moving in one side. I just remove the screws. Gonna move it in about 1/4 of an inch and re-screw it. No glue, that way I can move it back. If I ever want to use this universal plate, I can just unscrew them, move them back, and put them back in the original holes. So I threw some countersunk screws in the bottom of the sled. Now I'm just going to use some 1 5/8" construction screws. Throw a few in there, make it nice and secure. So just like before, I need to find the center of the bottom of the sled to route out the channel. So I'm just gonna go from the inner corners of these lines that I've already scribed on here. And that's gonna be my center. Now the size of the largest bit that I have is 1.5 inches, so I'm gonna go 3/4 of an inch from this X on each side all the way down. So now I'm going to throw a couple of pilot holes in the base of the sled so that I can fit the jigsaw blade in there to cut this channel out. So now I'm going to use one of my least favorite tools, the jigsaw. It's probably because you can see the brand and I don't have any nice blades in there, so it just doesn't cut super clean, but that's what I got, so that's what we're gonna use. Lots of vibration and lots of tear out, just the way we like it. That was a joke, by the way. We don't like tear out. We don't want any tear out. All right, so the channel is cut out. I took some 60 grit sandpaper and just kind of broke all the edges. Now I'm gonna take some 220 and just sand the bed real quick to make it a little bit more slick. Throw some paste wax on there to reduce friction, and the sled part of the flattening jig will be done. right, so there it is, down and dirty, real simple router sled for flattening slabs. I'm gonna flatten these slabs and move on to the next step in the build process for this dining table. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and stay tuned for part 2 of this build coming very soon. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.